This episode has shown me that some people are brighter than others. Let's get to it, shall we?
Will you stop the clatter, you bubble-headed booby?
The Outer Limits.
We begin at the home of Richard and Judith Bolero, where Richard is showing outer space who's boss by shooting a giant laser at it, while his father, Richard Sr., the head of the ultra-wealthy Bolero Corporation, watches on in boredom. After breaking the news that he will not pick his son as his successor, Richard Sr. leaves, and Judith tells her husband what she expects of him.
Things I want for you are not small.
Alas, all he can offer her is tons and tons of money, and is despondent over his failure. But Judith reassures him by talking about the Bifrost.
I thought of this as our Bifrost. The trembling weight of what for me would be heaven. Power, far-flung holdings, undiminishable authority.
After Richard leaves the room, Judith plays with the phaser left laying around before one of the old people from Cocoon comes down along the laser beam. She shoots him, of course, before running away to get help from Richard and her housekeeper, Mrs. Dame. Wow, that's a clever name. It is then we discover that the alien has a protective shield capable of warding off any form of attack, and after a few foolish reassurances that humans can be trusted, it lowers its shield and starts talking science with Richard. Not long after this, Richard Sr., to avoid confusion, I'm just going to call him Commissioner Gordon from here on out, comes back to the house with an offer to hand his son the entire company as long as Judith leaves him forever, which Judith laughs off as stupid since she's the cold-blooded, ambitious one in their relationship. The elder Dick departs in a huff, after which Judith convinces the younger Richard to go after him and tell him about the alien. With a gun she got from her very helpful and very sneaky barefoot housekeeper, Judith then talks with the alien for a bit to learn more about its shield technology. However, when the alien abruptly tries to leave, she shoots it. She and Mrs. Dame then lock the extraterrestrial corpse in the wine cellar just as the two men get home. Judith rips the shield from the creature's hand and pretends that this was the thing Richard wanted to show his father, not noticing that it was clearly attached to a tube that is now leaking glow stick juice onto the cellar floor. That stuff can be pretty toxic, you know. Judith then encases herself in the shield to perform an unnecessarily tense demonstration of its power, only to suddenly realize that, once activated, it can't be turned off. Realizing the horror of the situation, Richard whines about the futility of trying to save his wife.
Philosophers, the politicians, the image makers, funeral directors, the million government agencies, whom do you call, Father?
Ghostbusters!
Eventually, Judith owns up to what she's done, and both Mrs. Dame and Commissioner Gordon slink away to the wine cellar, where Mrs. Dame kills the old man and discovers that the alien is still barely alive. She helps it upstairs, where it uses its, fluids, to open the shield before dying. Richard goes to hug his wife, only to discover that she has been punished with a fate worse than death. She's been turned into a mime. Normally, I'm not a fan of stories where everyone is awful, but I think I can make an exception for this one. As a Macbeth-style parable about ambition, it works by adding a sci-fi context to everything and giving Major Houlihan the deliciously evil role of Lady Macbeth. However, the episode itself has some problems that are hard to overlook, like the hand-blurred film and constant sound effect drone given off by the alien.
The laser beam didn't destroy you? Does fire quench fire?
It gets so loud at times that it masks the creature's voice, and after a minute or so of this, it gets to be like nails on a chalkboard. Also, the turn where Judith goes from conniving murderer to head-shaking lunatic isn't really earned, making this one of the rare episodes where I think an extra 10 minutes or so would have helped sell the drama. Anyway, that's all I have on the Bolero shield. Now, as always, do all those YouTubey things, check out my Patreon, and all that other fun stuff. But until next time, this is the Unapologetic Geek, telling you to never be ashamed of what you love. As long as you're not hurting anybody.
The only thing I'll be able to give you in large amounts is money.